this will be episode number 4, and we're going to continue with the talk about the water. But at the same time, I think it's important that we kind of continue in the process for understanding how exactly this stuff works with attacks and what options we have. Okay, so why do we talk about water, and what is the importance of water? Now, remember that we are small physically, we are larger experientially with our experiences, and then we are almost infinite with our spirituality. Now, God has used other parables in other explanations in the Word of God, and He's given through Jesus and through others. And one of them is that we are a house of many mansions. Now, what does that mean? Why use that? Well, in our life, it's biblically described that our life is physical, very small, very experiential, okay? We are limited to a certain number of days, number of breaths for our life, experiences that are linked to time. We have memories that take place from, maybe from about the time we're 3 or 4 that we can remember till we age. And the memories are also to a degree linked to this physical experience, even in some cases supernaturally. There's some supernatural things with dreams, etc., visions, godly prophecies that are tossed in that also follow into that experiential category. And then, of course, there is the belief system that is everlasting. Even before He created the universe, He knew us. It's in the Word of God. So that means we were there before He created the physical universe, and we have everlasting life already given. How we experience that everlasting life, whether we're with God or away from God, we choose to leave God's presence as a third of the angels did, is totally up to us. And that is, I believe, the reason that He gives us these choices in life and free will, so that we decide, do we want to go to God or do we want to go away? Okay. What does that have to do with water? Well, the water is the most abundant substance in our universe. It's already been proven. Water is, not only does it make up the majority of the surface of the world, it also is, there's more water under the surface than there's above. Scientifically proven. And now they're talking about there may be more water molecules in space than any other kind of form of matter. So even in space, there's a lot of water, okay? Stars are primarily made up of hydrogen, primarily, component of water. And so you get all of this water everywhere. So He makes this tool, and then He happens to create the system where it can take information, intent, as in Masaru Emoto, and it can bring it into purpose, intent of the water. I'm going to be doing a video which I'm talking about the water of this, as well as the water of the curse that has seemed to have come out into the public eye all of a sudden now, where they have been putting children's baby parts in water. Now, Coca-Colas or Pepsi-Colas or various other things, that has become public knowledge. Now, why would they do that? Okay. If they weren't trying to curse it. Now, it's not like they could, like hundreds of thousands of bottles of water, that are produced. How many babies would they have to, grind up and put into all of that? So unless it's done like the same way. They take what is like the fats, they put a little bit in one and then they take a drop out and they keep diluting it so that they get the curse. In this case, instead of a godly purpose, likes can help treat or heal somebody of a like issue. No, now they are using darkness. So the enemy is doing this too. Of course, they're going to use whatever they can in order to facilitate their dark purpose. That is to bring the spiritual side into an attack. In this case, maybe some kind of effect that they want, total control, total domination, eugenics. So they have to bring in these pieces because they can't bring it all in one single swoop. People would say, people start falling like flies. They can't, no, that's not going to work. So they got to do it slowly. They got to bring it in piece by piece. And while they're controlling everyone, okay, then they can ramp it up here, ramp it up there. Okay. So I know what I've seen here that is in these various people that came along, and I wrote about those in this book, this one here, those experiences after I start putting God into the scenario, that there seem to be three parts. Magically, there is a physical, there's an experiential, and there is a spirit. There's a physical, experiential, or mental, and there's a spiritual component to everything, every sickness that we experience. So what does that have to do with this? Or what does that have to do with water? Okay. In the case of these things, in the case of poisons being brought in through your food, through the jabs that we have to have as little children, or through chemtrails, or through anything, they bring in the components. They bring in the components, the physical components that they want to put there. Okay. Then there has to be an experiential kind of application. You actually have to take something. You have to buy something. You have to lay your first fruits down at the feet of that drug dealer so that he can give you LSD, Lucifer, Satan, devil. And the different things that take place like that are by our own choice. Okay, that's the experiential, and they have an effect on us experientially. And then there's a curse behind it supernaturally. Okay. So what does that have to do with chemtrail? Well, aluminum and beryllium, AlBa, that BaAl is Baal, so two random elements that just so happen to speak of or spell out the word of one of the most horrific baby killing, sacrificing, blood drinking entities, the one that actually the whole Hollywood follows after. That's that whole blood drinking, baby sacrificing. That was Baal. Put the baby into the belly, put it on the hands, outstretched hands as they got super hot, put the baby there. They would sacrifice children to this creature, to this, lower than Satan, but high up, one of the top ones. And Moloch is also there, and Azeroth and Mitra, and they're all up there, the top dogs. So they sacrifice. They want that chemicals bring in, as you inhale them, they bring in that, there's a doorway in for the curse to come in. Okay. In the same way, we use the water then to do the opposite, to do the cleansing. Okay, light drives out darkness. So if you know the truth about it, doesn't mean you go and grab a Pepsi Cola and start drinking that and use that as your purpose, okay? Because it's been laced with darkness. You don't use the, you're like, well, okay, then I'm just going to bless the shot and then it'll work good, for good. I'm going to take it for good because it's going to do good. The chemicals, they're bringing the chemical, the physical in. They bring the physical in, very small. Taking it is like taking the beating from the giant, from the demon. You take it, take it, take it, take it. Yeah, they want you to take it. They don't want you to fight. They want you to take it. Okay, so, and then the belief part is that they know, well, they put a curse. If you do all three, if you got all three, the physical's there, you took it, and you have this curse, it's like three parts of a stool, and meant to kill us or to control us or to enslave us or to change us into all the purposes which they are trying to do with their stuff that they do, their curses. We're going to take the water and do the same thing. We are going to change by telling the water what we want to do in order to facilitate cleansing. House of many are your life is a mansion with many rooms. It also has a garden around it, a great garden. For some people, that garden is desert and dry. It has been attacked many times and been trampled by many attacks. So there's nothing but dirt and beat up, not many flowers out there. But when we water our garden with water, with the intent to, you've seen our garden. That garden is nothing but a bunch of plants that we bought from the local plant guy, planted them. And then Anna and I were out there, but mainly Anna's out there singing to the plants as she was watering them. And it made it into this tropical paradise. God is showing this is what happens if you bless the water. You will be fruitful. It will cause things to grow. Papayas. We got papaya, 30-foot papaya bush. You know, mangoes, guavas. I mean, nuts like crazy. I mean, strawberries. And it's gone crazy how not crazy, blessed. It's gone blessed. I gotta watch my own words, what I say. Yeah, you gotta watch what you say, because what you say, you can actually speak into reality. Okay, but back to the water. So in the therapeutic process, because we've lived with this beating that we've taken, in this case, in your shoulder, in your back, you've taken it for many years because you were told there was nothing that could be done. So you believed you had it, when in fact you were just being bullied. You were being bullied by the deep state, by the darkness, and told that, yeah, this is keeping you from fulfilling, perhaps even going further with your fighting career. When that clearly is what God had put you in to do. Now you're doing it still. You're doing it now. You're fighting spiritually, mentally and spiritually, not just physically. Well, before you were just physically doing it, although I think there's a lot mental to it as well. You're doing it, now you're doing it definitely. You're fighting for people's souls. And trust me, the enemy knows you're doing that. And they're going to try to, if they can't come back at you, because you are clearly doing what you know is God's purpose and God has blessed you and you've spoken that you are a believer in Christ and that Christ dwells in you. So that is already, you've got protection there. So the enemy can't hit you. So they got to hit around you. They got to go after you with different things, with different ploys. Hit you with hit you at your money source. YouTube, hey, they got control over that. They're going to hit you. And hit you where they can to try to get you to change your narrative, try to change what you're saying. Get afraid, be afraid that then they got you. When they can at least control you. If they can't get you on their team, then they can control you. That's what these big corporations do. They put their key people. The Illuminati puts their key people into positions so that, okay, they may not take complete control of the business, but they make sure that their purpose gets done so that when they need them, they can call them and they'll do a little tweak, a little turn, just a little bit here, a little bit there, that gets the narrative to go in just the right direction so that everybody is doing that. So now I had the same thing with my work. I'm working for companies, home health companies, and the minute this thing comes out, they're all standing in line wanting to be the first to get this, then they can get the big contracts. So now they can be the ones going out there and treating everybody. And what do? The nurses but you got to give, if people don't have that, then so they go out and start giving it to people. Okay, that the price isn't without the enemy's not going to give you money if they don't get you to do what they want you to do. Okay. So we have to be careful, where we take our money from. It's meant I've lost many jobs. I've lost, I've had millions taken from me because I've decided to treat godly and not. And they say, well, then you know what? We're not going to send you our patients. Oh, we don't have to give you a contract. Oh, by the way, we're not going to even pay you for the treatments that you've done. Sue us. We don't care. Go for it. They own the course anyway. They certainly own the lawyers. Anyway, back to water. So what do you do with this? Okay. You use it. Use it to water your garden so that your garden starts to flourish. So in your mind, you've got this house of many rooms, which, by the way, has crystal clear glass that illuminates. It's right in Revelation. John saw it. It looked like a river of lights flowing out of these people, out of the throne of God. But it's also a representation of what we have that comes out of us with our words, the word of God, our words, truth, as we spread it. And that becomes in essence, how we use this water. We're speaking into it. You take the water, you take a drink, you cook some, you bless it. Thank you for feeding my body. Thank you for watering my garden. Thank you, just for watering. Bless. It doesn't even have to be sophisticated. Oh God, let's humbly come before you so that we can lift up this bottle of water and make it possible for you to. He doesn't ask for that. Simple blessing, goodness, peace, watering, growth, blossoms, love. People's names, Christy, Anna, good people, blessing, Jesus. It's all, it blesses this stuff. And then it causes this blossoming. But you can also be very specific with the task that you want it to do. So you tell the water, go in there and cleanse my back, all the damage that had happened from all the bullying that I had in the past. Clean it out. Every cell, every atom in your body is renewed every 2 years, some faster than others. That means new things come in and replace the old. So things that have happened to you in the past only have an effect on you if you believe it to be so. Instead of it being put back the way God intended, without wrinkles, with hair, it's put back the way you believe. I keep believing my hair is going to grow back. I believe, now help me with my unbelief. So what can you do? Yeah, you're lucky, bub. You got the big head of hair you got. It's all right. I'll catch up. Anyway, water. You get in the shower. You ask the water to bless your body, to rejuvenate. Thank you for this blessing of the water. You're cooking. You're eating. Sit down. Bless the food as you eat it. Thank you for this food. Bless my body as you, the water. This is the water inside that transmits that information from that blessing. It's proven. It's science. It's the naturopathic medicine. So homeopathy, Marsara Ibudo, proven, scientifically proven. You don't have to go and have to doubt that. It's not just a question of belief, it's fact. Okay? This is undisputable and reproducible. You can do the same thing yourself. You can take water, put it in 3 beakers, put in some rice kernels or something else, some seeds, bless one, curse another, and leave one alone and see what happens. And I guarantee you it'll do the same thing. You could do, if you feel like you want to try it, to experiment. But I already saw it. I saw the vats. All 20 students picked it out. It's a fact that something from that first one, that first drop, ended up in that last vial after 70,000 gallons of dilution. Okay. All right. And it's more than that dilution because you're only taking a single drop from the other. So that's a much greater dilution than just dropping it in the last, making one big 70,000 gallon thing and putting a single drop in. See, that's not how it works. They have to do it from drop to drop to drop, drop. See, then you're getting a drop's worth of essence in the next vat. And then after they take the last 10,000, they make that into little vials. They dump them all out, they clean them all out, and they do it again with a different group. Silver or snake poison. Yeah, cobra venom. One of the kids had to taste, and it had a numbing effect. He said when he took the water and drank it, his tongue went kind of like numb. That's what cobra venom does. It's a neurotoxin. Scorpion bite, scorpion sting, other things like that. Black widow spider. Those are all different vials that you can, if you think you've been, but it's the like that causes so why take cobra venom to stop a cobra bite? You got bit by a cobra, you go and drink the vial. See, it puts your attention, the water then focuses your attention on the rest of the water in your body, like the vat, to put its attention where it needs to go in order to treat that thing there, that cobra venom. See, so that's why it's done. And likes cure likes. It's the basis of real vaccination. A dormant piece of a disease, virus, is put in a vial, injected, and then your body identifies that and says, okay, that's what I need to fight. And it gears your resistance to when it sees it in the real, it knows what to fight. That's what vaccines do. That's what real vaccines do. Okay. So we use water. We use the showers. We use cooking. We use, even when we want to exercise, the more water that's involved in the exercise process, the more encompassing it is around our entire body. It's best therapeutically, the best scenario to exercise in is in water. Therapeutically, you have much greater effect when you exercise in the water. Why? Because you're not just punching the bag, and the effect is here on the surface where you're hitting that bag, maybe from your feet, but your whole body is being circulated with that water, and that's bombarding every part of your body with what you're trying to do. The message that you're trying to strengthen, you're trying to increase your speed, you're trying to survive, you're trying to win, you're trying to overcome. So that is why we use water primarily in the therapeutic process. At least I do. The whole therapeutic realm has gotten away from it. The pharmaceutical industry has called it worthless. They just say it's stupid. You don't even need to do it anymore. Just give them a pill and let them do a couple exercises is good enough. When we go there, how ridiculous the therapeutic process has become I had, like I said, treated thousands of people, and towards the end of my practices were bulldozed out from under me, I was a director of one of the largest home health companies in Arizona. 150 nurses, 75 therapists. And what I was amazed at is what the insurance company wanted done. Every person that you went and saw had to have the same page of exercises, regardless of what. They didn't care what else you did. At least then they didn't. But what they did say is, as long as you give them a series of exercises that match, regardless of what they have. There are these leg extensions, knee highs, leg out, arm up, out to the side like the jumping jack, head up now. Basic exercises that everybody had to have. And here you are, you go into somebody who has a lupus, and you're exercising their hips, and they're like, there's nothing wrong with my hip. Why are we doing this? Because the insurance company says they gotta have it. See, that's the kind of baloney that makes you realize that there's something to this stuff that doesn't make sense. So what we do is we use the strength of water to counter our issues. Now, back to this. I haven't shared this with you, but I probably have not had a vaccination other than a flu shot, and I only had maybe one or two in the last 30 years. Now, how come that is? Well, it starts with the fact that I had this doctor when I first started my practice. I was in practice pretty much kind of through God. I ended up in my own practice, and I was sharing space with a doctor called Dr. Mike. Dr. Mike was one of the only really, really good, I've met other good guys, but he was really a good family doctor. He came from a line of family doctors. And he still believed in the old-fashioned. Every day after he'd go and eat lunch, and he'd call every patient he saw the day before and ask them how they were doing. He didn't get paid for that. And on weekends, if somebody was really ill, he'd go visit them in their house. He didn't get paid for that. He did house calls Saturday, sometimes Sunday. I wrote about him in this book because I went with him. He used to volunteer the Indian reservation. He would volunteer in the prisons, and he'd go help out those people on weekends. He didn't get paid for that. He just did it, you know. And so I went with him one time. On this one particular case, I think I was maybe a year in. I'm in his office, and we'd often sit there and talk in between patients, sometimes, especially when it was a little slower day, and he'd be sitting up there in his white lab coat, and I'd be there. And I'd stand there and we'd talk and chat, and the girls would be doing their thing. And then one day suddenly there's a whole tray of flu shots comes in. He goes, "Oh, I hate these things." I go, "What is that?" He goes, "Flu shots." He goes, "Not only that," he goes, "they make me buy them." He says, and they're $7 a piece. And I can't get away from it. It's required. If I participate with these certain companies, they require that I have to buy, so many flu shots. So I have to buy, there was probably about maybe 400 vials sitting there or so, big tray full. And he's looking at them, and I go, "Why do you hate them?" He goes, "To be honest with you, I don't really see any difference." He said, I've had people who've taken the flu shot and they get the flu. And I have people who don't take the flu shot and they don't get the flu. He goes, I don't really know. He says, so it doesn't, and he goes, well, not only that, he goes, it doesn't make sense. How could they know ahead of time what flu strain is going to come 6 months from now, or 3 months from now, when they're giving it out in August and July? They start giving out the flu shots for the coming flu season. Yeah, I always thought that too. I'm sitting there just listening to him. But I think I'll agree. Yeah. I've had maybe one or two. I don't really see any difference either. Okay. When he goes, well, so he's unpacking it, tearing the plastic off. And then he goes, and then I said to him, well, "What's that?" He goes, "What?" He goes, "Well, they're all pink, except for these over here in the corner, they're also purple." Huh. Never noticed. Pulls out the purple one. He pulls out a pink one. He looks at the labels. Different number, but everything else is the same. That's interesting. Huh. And he goes, "You only have 6 purple ones?" Yeah. He goes, "Well, let's find out." He puts them back down. He goes into his little office, which is just right there. Doors open. He's at his desk. He's not even behind his desk. He picks up the phone and calls his drug rep. So yeah, I got the vials today for the whatever he called it, flu shot. And he said, and and I got, but funny thing, almost all of them have the same pink label, except there was 6 of them that had a purple label. And I go, well, why is that? Oh, okay. Huh. Well, all right, I guess. Thank you. Hangs up the phone, comes back in. He says, well, that was strange. He says, those purple ones are VIP. Those are for me and my family. He said, I didn't even know there was different ones for me and the family. And I said, why is that? He goes, I said that. Why is that? He goes, well, that's because you ordered the VIP, you get VIP, you get so many for you and your family. Oh, okay. Whatever. And I said to him, so there's a difference between what everyone else gets and what you get for you and your family? Huh. He goes, I'd never even noticed it before. I think I just given them out without even thinking about it, I guess. I don't know. We're talking and the phone rings again. And the secretary or the receptionist, she goes, hey, it's that Don, whatever. He's on the phone again. Oh, okay. Same guy. He just talked to him. He goes back over there, picks up the phone. Okay. Yeah. What? Oh, okay. Hangs up. Well, that's weird. He goes, the drug rep said, sorry, those weren't meant for you. They'll be coming by to pick them up in a few minutes. There was a mistake. Okay. We weren't, I mean, a few minutes, it was like 5 minutes. And in walks two guys he had never seen before. They came to pick up those 6 vials, purple vials, and gave him 6 pink ones in place. And they turned around and left. Didn't say thank you, nothing. Just took them and left. They weren't meant for him. They'd been sent by mistake. The doctor looked at it and he goes, this is bullshit. And he took the whole tray and he threw it in his garbage can. The following year, I was there still again, and there comes the whole thing again. And I remembered, and so did he. And we looked at, this time he unpacked them. No purple ones, all just pink. I said, you gonna throw them away again? He goes, nah. He goes, but I'm not giving them out. If people want them, they can have them. He said, last year I had a lot of people asking me for them and I already threw them away. I said, so he said, but I got to pay for these dang things. He said, but I'm not giving them out. I'm not even going to ask people if they want it. If they ask me for it, I'll give them one because they asked for it. But I'm not going to sell it. I'm not going to give it out unless I'm absolutely asked for it. He says, I'm not taking it. I said, I'm not taking it either. That's a true story. That was 30 years ago that took place. See, this whole manipulation of them and us, they get VIP. They get special needles that when they go to put it in, they actually push up inside so they don't really get anything. They just make it look like on camera they're getting it, which they've already shown on the net is taking place. Certain things that they have special DUMs constructed so that they can escape if there's ever problems. It's clearly known. I have known that from the ex-family I was in. That if there ever, when there was talk about this or that dramatic event was 2000, whatever, 2012 or whatever, when they talked about that, well, luckily we have this good friend, Art, who, good thing, that he's got a place for us, a special place that we're going to go, our family can go because we're friends with him. That kind of the deep state, they think they've got this all covered. They'll hide while the rest of us have to suffer through this stuff in their secret hidden place or in their little island paradise in New Zealand or hidden away location. But they can't hide from God. As a matter of fact, in Revelation, it clearly says that they all crawl in their little caves and then God just causes the ceiling fall down on top of them. Probably what's happening now with the gene decode dumb wars that are taking place. Yeah, their whole things are being caved in. So the water we use to our advantage. Okay. It doesn't mean we take this if we and then we can just make it good. No, they're still bringing in chemicals. Taking it is the second leg in the curse. You don't take it. You fight the bully. You don't just take it. I'm trying to teach you, my good friend, to be a fighter. You are a fighter, but you got to fight it with your words. You don't claim any of this stuff. The breath of God, that I talked about that in an earlier video, I think. I'm going to double check that. But water is one key way we use. It's one masterful left hook that you use after you've applied your word of God jabs, right? And then the left, finishing it off, cleaning up the mess with water. You can clean up the mess with light. You can clean up the mess with movement. You can clean up the mess with any physical. That's the physical God has provided. He said, I will provide everything you need to overcome. It's just one of many physical things he provides to overcome. Jesus looked around and person said, what can I do for you? I can't see. I'd like to see. So Jesus, okay, all right, spit in his hand and rubbed it on the guy's eye. Something physical. And how's it now? Oh, it's a little better. Okay, we'll do it again. Did it again. Water. Go 10 lepers come to him. If you would, you could heal us. Yeah, of course I would. Go over to the Jordan and dip yourself into the Jordan River and you'll be cleansed. And they rushed off. They believed. Water. Okay, waiting for them. And then one on the way said, wait a minute, and turned and went back and said, thank you. He was the only one. And Jesus marveled at that. It's like, my God, of all the people who are healed, one comes back and says, thank you. That's the thankless job that we are in, you and I. And we people I've helped by sharing truths. You don't have the stuff. It's stuff that has been afflicted to you. See it as such and fight. Oh, I get it. Yeah. And then they get healed. And then 6 months later, they come back to you and they look at you and go, gosh, I'm so glad I listened to that doctor when he told me I needed to go get chemo, because chemo really did make me feel better. It's like, you idiot. Don't you see? God made you better. Chemo didn't make you better. Okay? But the thankless job. I had this woman named Lupe. I like to give these stories because it helps ingrain it into the therapeutic process. So I do this with my patients. I'm doing it with you. Lupe. She comes to see me. She's been coming for 6 months. This is back at the beginning. This is when I first started putting God into the scenario. And she'd come in and she'd get treated and her back be stiff and all irritated, and we'd massage her and I'd pray for her. And she'd feel better. Oh, I feel so much better. And she'd go away. And a couple of days later, she'd come back. My back got hurt again. So, okay, so work on her again. Oh, I feel so much better. Thank you so much. Thank you. She goes away. 2 days later, she come back. My back got hurt again. So I started to look into the cause. I just started. Lupe, what are you doing? That you go away. I do nothing. I go home. I feel good. I feel good for 2 days, 3 days, and I don't feel nothing. Then it hurts again. What are you doing? I do nothing. Are you lifting things? No lift. No. Well, oh, but I do take care of my children's children. Yeah, my daughters. Those bitches. They bring their kids. They bring all their kids. I gotta take care of 15 kids, all the kids every day. I never get a day off. I get kids. I gotta go take care of their kids. I said, well, there you go. You're lifting those children. No lift. We began to realize that Lupe was So I start talking to her. Well, do you tell the kids that? No, I can't tell them that the first one, the first daughter, she bring her kids because she couldn't afford it. So I would watch her kids. Well, then the second daughter, the third daughter, the fourth daughter, the fifth daughter, they all bring their kids too because they see the older sister. They do. So I would more and more kids, more grandkids. I get grandkids. I love the grandkids, but I don't want to be a babysitter all the time. My whole life. So we realized that she had all this pent up emotion for the responsibility of taking care of these kids, but she wouldn't tell her kids, her own kids, because she was afraid they think that she didn't love the grandchildren. So when we started finally talking, I said, Lupe, maybe this is from this. This was just starting with that. I didn't even have a clue myself. Is it possible that your own guilt, burden, is allowing this reoccurring issue in your back? Maybe. Oh, you think? I think so. So just go talk to your kids and maybe say to them, you know, I know I want to keep having the kids, but you can't use me, okay? You have to understand, I might need a day off here too once in a while. I'll do it. She feels better. She leaves. 2 days later, she comes back. I still feel good. No, I did what you said. We talked to the kids. Everything was good. They were like, Mom, of course. Don't pick up the kids. And if you don't want to have them that day, it's okay. We're okay. And so everything was fine. She got rid of that burden. And suddenly, her back was better. Week later, still better. She goes, I don't need to come to therapy no more. I feel good. Yeah, I feel good, still good. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Peter. Thank you. And she was gone. 3 weeks later, in comes daughter Lupe. And she goes, my mom, she talks so great about you. She goes, she goes, I've been having problems with my neck and shoulders. You think you could, would you be willing to help me? I said, of course. I said, you know, you're going to have to get I can see you even without a prescription, but if we're going to build insurance, we may have to. She goes, oh, no, I'm not here for therapy. She goes, I want the tea. I go, what? She goes, I want the tea, the magic tea. I go, you want the what? The tea. My mama, she says you got magic tea. She said, you talk about tea? Like, we have that station over there where we have Lipton tea bags and coffee, and people can have a little bit of, yeah, the tea, that's the tea. What kind of tea is that? I need that tea. That tea cured my mama's back. She said the tea. Son of a bitch. Lupe gave the credit to the freaking tea. She was telling her daughter that it was the tea that made her back better. It's a thankless job, my friend. Yeah. Oh, well. That's this one. I'm going to get these 2 videos done, and then we'll head on over maybe tomorrow, if I can stay on course, and give you 5 and 6. I hope that you let me know that you're watching these. Send me a text or something, or an email back that you got it. Even if you don't watch them, at least you got them. So that, if you haven't got a chance to watch because you're busy, it's okay. It's cool. Anyways, brother, you take care, and hope I can see you soon. Yeah. Love you.